Love has to be earned. And earned from day to day. As husbands can pay little attention to a wife, so we can pay little attention to the Lord. And one of the purposes of the Eucharist, you see, is to supply digestion after a sacrifice. We consume the body and blood of Christ, but is there not a spiritual digestion that takes place in His presence? Is marriage only the union of husband and wife in the marriage act? Is the Eucharist only just simply communion with Christ in the Mass? Or in marriage, is there not also a companionship of love, a communication of words and thoughts and affections? Shall not there also be in the church this presence of Christ? He is everywhere, yes, but there are localizations of presence. And see how, for instance, Solomon brings forth this fact when he anointed, and rather when he dedicated his great temple. He begins by professing the universality of God's presence. And he says, "But will God dwell indeed with men on earth? Behold, heaven and earth cannot contain thee. How much less the house that I have built? Yet have regard to the prayer of thy servant, and to his supplication, O Lord my God, hearkening to the prayer and cry which thy servant prays before thee, that thy eyes may be open day and night toward this house, the place where thou hast promised to set thy name, that thou mayest hearken to the prayer which thy servant offers toward this place, and hearken thou to the supplications of thy servant and of thy people Israel when they pray toward this place. Yet hear thou from heaven thy dwelling place, and when thou hearest, forgive." The universality of God does not destroy the localization of His presence. And how often unbelievers become converted simply by the presence of the Eucharistic Lord. Some non-Catholics will come into a church and they will say, "Oh, it's different." I remember once I went down from Louvain to Paris to preach. And I was in a little hotel near the Opera Comique, and there was an Englishman playing the piano and playing it well. And I congratulated him, and then I suggested that we go to dinner, and he said, "But I've never eaten with a priest or met a priest before in my life." I suggested that we were just like anyone else. Stick a priest with a pin, he jumps too. So we went to dinner, and then he presented to me a moral problem. He said, "I have never met in my life one good man or one good woman." That gave me an occasion to thank him for the compliment. Then he went on and to tell me, he said, I picked up a woman in this restaurant a year ago this coming 11th of February. She was trying to break a lump of sugar in a cup of coffee, wasn't able to do it. So I broke it. She said her husband was mean to her. I said, "All right, come and live with me." Well, I get tired of them all after 12 months. Her time is up, so I packed up all of her clothes and left them with the concierge. She anticipated my move, and she gave me this letter. "Dear puppy, unless you refuse to continue living with me until our anniversary, I shall commit suicide." Now, may I prevent suicide by permitting her to live with me? I said, "No, one, she will not commit suicide, And true, you may not do evil, the good may come from it. Got to be near midnight. He said, I will take you home. No, I said, I'm going to Montmartre. There's a Basilica of the Sacred Heart there, where every single night there are 1,000 men spending their lives, their hours in prayer. They have wives, they're good wives. They have children, they're good children. Come with me. He was a diamond merchant. Reluctantly he came. He said, what'll I do? Will I kneel? Will I sit? How long will I have to stay? He had no faith whatever. And I said, I will leave when you want to leave, but I intend to stay all night. I read Mass the next morning when the sun came up over Paris. He stayed. And then on the way down, he said, will you stay in Paris and teach me to be good? This single night, which was so different from the other nights of his life, was enough to convince him that there is goodness in the world. There are good people. The Eucharist is a kind of a radioactive thing. It shoots out rays. And if all of our sermons were prepared here, talking to the Lord, if all our problems were brought here, how much better would be our solutions. One of the great regrets at the end of our life will be that he was so near, he was so far away. And it's the test of faith.